Welcome back to the channel.
Let's talk about exchange rate and their role in post-pandemic recovery.
COVID-19 has shaken economies and currency shows how they are adapting.
Exchange rates reflect the changes and challenges we are facing.
They are key to understanding our economic future.
Let's dive in and see what the number reveals.
Let's talk about something that hits close to home. How the Malaysian ringgit has been fluctuating against the US dollar. In 2022, the Malaysian ringgit to US dollar rate was all over the place, starting at 4.20, jumping to 4.7 in November after the Fed hike rates, and then dropping back to 4.19 by January 2023. It bounced between 4.19 and 4.5 in March 2023. Now, in 2024, it is still around 4.5, showing ongoing volatility with global economic uncertainties. Our problem statement is, the Malaysian ringgit exchange rate to the US dollar is increased higher yearly.
Our study is focused on understanding the key factors behind these exchange rate movements. We're looking at things like GDP, broad money export and import to see how they affect the Malaysian ringgit. We're tackling how these exchange rate fluctuations impact Malaysia's trade, investment, and overall economic stability. By exploring these factors, we hope to give policymakers and business leaders valuable insights to help manage currency fluctuations and build a more stable, sustainable economy.
To address this objective, we will use a real regression model to help us quantify the relationship between exchange rate and their key determinant. First, let's take a look at the economic model we will use to build our econometric model. Now, let's introduce the econometric model we will be using to analyze exchange rate movement. Here is a specific explanation of econometric model. The first one is ESR, the dependent variable, represent the exchange rate between the Malaysian ringgit and the USD. MRL per USD represent how many Malaysian ringgit is linked to exchange with $1. We choose to compare our currency with the USD because it's one of the most widely used and trend currency globally. It is considered a global reserve currency held by central bank and major financial institutions as a part of their foreign exchange reserve. Then the second one is GDP. GDP is the total monetary value of all goods and service produced within a country border in a specific time period. GDP can significantly impact exchange rate. For instance, when a country GDP rises, its currency value often increases as well. This is because a higher GDP indicates a stronger economy, which attracts foreign investment and increased demand for the country currency. Then the third is bulk money. Bulk money is a total amount of money in circulation within an economy, including cash, bank deposit, and other easily combustible assets. Bulk money can affect exchange rate because an increase in bulk money supply can lead to inflation, which may reduce the value of a country currency relative to others. Study by Lin and Visnaswara have shown that change in bulk money supply can improve macroeconomic variables, including exchange rate. Then the fourth is export. Export is a sales of goods and service produced in one country to another country. Export can affect exchange rate because when a country exports more, it increases the demand for its currency, leading to an appreciation of the currency value. Studies from World Bank have shown that a higher level of export can lead to a stronger currency due to increased foreign exchange earnings and improved trade balance.
Then the fifth is import. Import is the purchase of goods and services produced in another country. Import can affect exchange rate because a higher level of import increases the demand for foreign currency, which can lead to a depreciation of the domestic currency. Studies have shown that a rising level of import and the growing trade deficit can negatively impact a country's exchange rate. Then the last one, error term. The error term is the module represent the portion of the exchange rate that cannot be explained by the independent variable. It captures all other factors that may influence the exchange rate but are not included in the model. This could be random fluctuation, measurement error, or other variables not accounted for in the model. For example, if the pandemic has significant impact on the exchange rate that is not captured by GDP, interest rate, or inflation, its effect will be part of the error term.
Next, let's move on to diagnostic tests to prove the assumptions of OLS. We do in linear log functional form, as the estimated coefficient in linear functional form is not rational. The following shows the estimated equation using the OLS method in eViews. Now, we will undergo the diagnostic test to verify the assumptions for OLS estimators to be valid and unbiased. Assumption 1. The regression model is linear, is correctly specified, and has an additive error term. Since p-value equals to 0.1395 greater than 0.05, it is not significant. We do not reject the null hypothesis, which means that the original model is not misspecified, and it is linear with additive error terms. Assumption 2. The error term is normally distributed. Since the Jacquard-Barra test statistic is 1.301 and the p-value is greater than 5% significant level, which is 0.5217 greater than 0.05, it is significant. We do not reject the null hypothesis. Therefore, we can conclude that the residuals are normally distributed at a 5% significant level. Assumption 3. Observations of the error term are uncorrelated with each other. No serial correlation. Since the LM test statistic is 5.043 and the p-value is greater than a 5% significant level, which is 0.0804 greater than 0.05. Thus, it is not significant, and we do not reject the null hypothesis. Hence, we can conclude that there is no autocorrelation in this regression model at a 5% significant level. Assumption 4. No heteroscedasticity in the error term. Since the Bruch-Pagan-Goffrey test statistic is 0.1274 and the p-value is greater than a 5% significant level, which is 0.9981 greater than 0.05. Thus, it is not significant, and we do not reject the null hypothesis. Hence, we can conclude that there is no heteroscedasticity in the error term at a 5% significant level. Assumption 5. No perfect multicollinearity. Based on the center VIF values, there is high multicollinearity among the independent variables, as all VIF exceeds 5, while the OLS estimators remain best linear unbiased estimators. The estimates may be imprecise due to large variance and standard errors. However, the fact that we can calculate the VIF indicates that there is no perfect multicollinearity in the model.
Based on the results, the p-value of log GDP 0.0503, log BM 0.2002, and log M 0.0731 are greater than 0.05. Hence, their coefficients are not statistically significant at the 5% significance level. Only log X, with a p-value of 0.0454, is statistically significant at a 5% significance level. This suggests that exports have a clear impact on the exchange rate in your model, while the other variables such as GDP, broad money, and imports do not show a statistically significant effect individually. This may occur because of high multicollinearity. Since exports and imports are elements of GDP, there might be overlap in our independent variables. Additionally, the sample size might be too small, as we only have 10 observations. To overcome this problem, we can increase the sample size to 30 or more, or we can try dropping the import variables since it's not significant. Based on the results, the F statistic is 11.583 and the p-value is 0.009642, which is smaller than 0.05. Hence, It is significant that we reject the null hypothesis. Thus, we can conclude that not all sloped coefficients are simultaneously zero. Therefore, the regression model is overall significant at a 5% of significance level. For a 1% increase in GDP, there will be an increase of 0.044 units in the exchange rate, holding other variables constant. This shows that there is a positive relationship between the GDP and the exchange rate. For 1% increase in import, there will be an increase of 0.109 units in the exchange rate, holding other variables constant. This shows that there is a positive relationship between the import and the exchange rate. For 1% increase in import money, there will be a decrease of 0.02 units in the exchange rate, holding other variables constant. This shows that there is a negative relationship between the brought money and the exchange rate. For 1% increase in the export, there will be a decrease of 0.126 units in the exchange rate, holding other variables constant. This shows that there is a negative relationship between the export and the exchange rate. The R-square value is 0.9026, which means 90.26% variation of the exchange rate can be explained by the independent variables GDP, brought money, exports, and imports. The remaining 9.74% is explained by the other variables.
To conclude, since this model has passed all the diagnostic tests, we can confirm that it is blue. Woo! By analyzing this model, we have successfully achieved both of our objectives: identifying the key determinants of the exchange rate in Malaysia and analyzing the impact of GDP, brought money, exports, and imports on the value of the exchange rate. We believe our study has provided valuable insights into the fluctuations in the exchange rate in Malaysia.
Thank you for watching our video.